Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, hello. The video is on. Okay. Munindra Mohan Prabhu always tells me, look warm. Okay. I'm not a very good actor this morning. All right, dear devotees, happy to be with you. Let us begin with our mini Vandanam that as we do. So, Prema Sindhu Prabhu, Mathura Basini Devi Dasi, perhaps on Prema Sindhu Prabhu's phone, possibly, and very happy to see you here with us this week too. And just now, I was in the not San Jose Temple, excuse me, the Sweet Lake City ashram by chance, means not in my body, but they're actually doing the Bhagavad Gita class as we speak. Dibbi Shakti Devi Dasi said. I didn't actually intentionally go there as such. I'm happy to, but I went there to turn on our Facebook. So our Facebook is here. To those of you on Facebook who are seeing us, to those of you who are seeing the recorded version, to those of you on Zoom, our obeisances to you and a big welcome. And Leela Moy looks cold. He's wearing a padded jacket. Yeah, freezing cold in Thailand in the mid-morning. I don't believe it. All right, on the whatever day of spring it is, third or fourth day of spring. All right. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitan Tang Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha. All right, a little bit more warmth. Hare Krishna. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurudev Namah. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvije Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, last time we ended by saying I should give everybody more opportunity to say something, and we suggested 5 minutes each to say how to give some suggestions, how we get through to the public who may be resisting, how to help the penny to drop in the public's idea. I mean, public means those who are being introduced to Krishna consciousness, that this is real, that this is the purpose of our life. We are getting honest, truthful guidance, etc., etc. Some reason to listen, to prick up their ears. But we know it is difficult. Our yesterday, some of yours today, was Advaita Acharya's appearance day. And we read from Chaitanya Bhagavat. We read from different places, but in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is quite a description. Well, there's just a strong description about how the devotees who were present before Mahaprabhu appeared, because Mahaprabhu arranged for his senior section, as it were, in Leela, to have their appearance first. but how much they were trying to get through to the public, but the public could not understand like this. So if these high-powered eternal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu find it difficult to penetrate through the illusion, covering the thick illusion, covering everybody, but covering the residents of Kali Yuga, if they had a hard time to do that and prayed for the Lord to come, that only He can solve this, and the solution was in the hand of Advaita Acharya, his resolve to bring the Lord down. Down means here. Then that resolve gave life to the devotees. So, on this theme, can we ask for 5 minutes each? I'm sure you've prepared your 5-minute perfect presentation to the public. PPP, perfect presentation to the public. So today, let us start with Bimal Krishna Prabhu. And he's very a chatty, friendly person to talk with and to meet people. I'm sure he's got some secrets that he might like to share with us of how to disarm the public, maybe with friendliness. Bimal Krishna Prabhu, Bimal Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat devotees. I mean, what can I really say? I think things that come to mind, I mean, since I was here last time and just listening, a lot of things that come to my mind really are just trying to live what we're trying to preach. I mean, for me, that I was living in I think for a long time I was living in a way that I don't feel like I could have preached, because I mean, I'm a hypocrite anyway, but even more so then. But I feel like it's just important that, you know, we're trying to follow these things and live in such a way that we can share with other people, and that they'll take us serious in what we're saying, because we're actually trying and putting forth effort. I mean, obviously we can't expect to be perfect, but, you know, I think trying and letting people see that is, you know, goes a long way, being an example. But also just a lot of things that I agree with, you know, hearing like Gurudev. Every time if you come in front of Gurudev, when you meet Gurudev, he's not immediately preaching to you, but he's being kind and just, he's giving affection, and, you know, he's just, I mean, that's his nature. And we're not all to say that we're like Gurudev, but just treating people kindly and just being a real person with them, you know, being personable. I think like Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission, all the devotees there, if you go there, they're just kind and nice and open, and it allows, I think it's kind of disarming, you know. I think it's easier to do that. But I mean, when I was thinking about time, sorry, I'm like really scattered in my thoughts. Usually my breathing shuts down when I try to speak on here. I get so nervous I can't really talk. So forgive me for my scattered thoughts. But I was also just thinking about back when I was staying in the Sokel Seva ashram for a time. I went to India with Gurudev, and then actually I was reading some emails, Maharaj, and you were telling me I should go to Sokel and do some seva there. So I went there for about a month, 5 weeks or so, before I went back to India to be with Gurudev again. But we would go out and we were doing big festivals. There was some, like a bluegrass festival in Golden Gate Park and some different things. And we were going out and selling samosas, which actually I got in trouble. One of the police officers told me I couldn't do it. So I kind of just went around stealthily, you know. But one thing I remember from then was, because I was really nervous, you know, to talk to people. I was in Adoti and, you know, Kurta and everything, and Tilak, and we're out and everyone's inebriated and just kind of, you know, they're thick in material nature, or so to speak. But I just remember just trying to be open, you know, just kind of like Krishna. I'm just here. I don't really know what to do or what to say, but like, just trying to be open to that, and then letting whoever comes, you know, feeling inspired to come, and then just kind of seeing how to go from there, and then speaking, you know, if they have questions, or just explaining what we are trying to do or whatever, but just trying to just remain open to whatever's coming, and then speaking in that way and just kind of going from there and just feeling inspired, just trying to, because I mean, I don't have anything to say, I mean, I
You
can only
do.
say what Gurudev is saying, and because I don't know Krishna, I don't understand Krishna, but I can hear about it, and that, I guess that's the whole point, and then also I think sometimes when we're sharing these things, we learn so much ourselves, because it is coming from, if we can be open to it, I think it does come from a higher plane and it's coming down through us. And if we're sincere in that approach, then I think that we can share with people. And sometimes it might not make a whole lot of sense of what we're saying to ourselves, but to that person that you're speaking to there, so I've had people share with like, wow, like I was really going through something and what you told me really helped me. But I think just that sincere approach and trying to just be open. And I hope I didn't go past 5 minutes, but on the button.
Oh, we're not really counting the minutes too much. But I did just say in the middle, I interrupted a little bit, but to say you do have something to say in the sense of the devotees do have something to say because we've got like a proper connection and we've heard so many things and we don't realize what we have to say until we've got like a person, someone to say it to who's got the genuine questions. I think when the genuine heart comes out, someone needs something, oh, tell me more, how do you know, etc., etc. Then we find that, oh, there are things that we've read, that we've heard, that we've seen in our life, which we can share. So to share, this is also Mahaprabhu's mission, not to keep it to ourselves, but to be a good example and to be us, to be you, to be who we are. Yes, Bimal Krishna Prabhu. Jai. May everyone in your village or town quickly become Krishna conscious by seeing you. Hare Krishna. So we're going through we're not going through the devotees, asking one by one. We've got Indulekha Devi Dasi with us. I don't know if she's available to speak. She's a hard worker and maybe working. Indulekha Devi, are you available to give us 5 minutes to change the world?
Dandavat, dear Maharaj and devotees. I'm very sick. I don't think I can talk for too long. But I was thinking that I don't usually preach in a regular way because I think if somebody came to me and told me, there is God and He's blue and His name is Krishna and He loves you, I wouldn't take that seriously at all. I became involved with the devotees because they became my friends. I'm just like as people. And then I kind of got sucked into it, and it still doesn't make sense to me how it happened. So that's not what I usually tell people, but I'm curious about what people think, and when I talk to somebody new, pretty fast we end up talking about what do you think is the meaning of life, and then they start sharing about what they feel is the most highest purpose in life. And then eventually they ask me what I think. And then I just tell them about my story. And they can take it or leave it. But in this way, when you first ask what is their highest idea is in life, that sometimes people are like shy to talk about it, but they open up to you if you're friendly. And then when you say what you've been taught about the Lord, what our teachers tell us, then it doesn't come as like you're trying to impose it on them, but it's kind of like just sharing. And I think, 100% of times, the 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 ideals that I've been taught are like so much higher than what anybody else is thinking in their own minds. And sometimes it's actually kind of similar if they're Christian or they're just faithful people, and then you just start talking about the Lord, and it's so exciting. But that's what I usually do, kind of from the back door, so to speak.
Okay, beautiful. And please get well soon. We know lots of devotees, I suppose, but somehow at the moment, lots of devotees have got some bug, some flu, something. So get well soon.
Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna. And meet more people and ask them their goal of life and give them a little injection. Jai. And I'm sure Rupa Nugapu is eager to share something. I know.
Yes, I am.
Even with my faulty senses, I can say he wants to share something. Yes, Prabhu.
I knew that you would pick up on that. So I have to check out of this hotel I'm in at the moment. And I can only speak now, but I'll be listening in when I go in. Yeah, well, when I share with people who sometimes look at me when they're aware by my haircut, but I think I set an example. But whenever I say to the main precepts are, and you know it, to be as humble as a blade of grass, to be as tolerant as a tree, to give service to others and not to expect anything in return, and to chant the holy name. And I basically look at them and say, do you see any harm in that? And they go, no, not at all. And I said, yes, I'm inspired every day by chanting. I think we lead by example, but what we also need is publicity. And I was amazed that on Australian Radio National, it goes all around Australia, there was a whole episode on Krishna Consciousness. So it was coming from ISKCON. If it was acceptable, I could send a link to that program if you want, but otherwise we can keep out of it. But it was inspiring. In fact, a Buddhist who was on the panel was inspired. And I think that's the other thing. We need more good publicity, you know. But apart from that, nobody's ever argued against me. They can understand why I'm so devoted to Krishna consciousness. You know. So there's my point. It wasn't quite 5 minutes, but getting there.
It's all right. And Rupa Nugapu, yes, I would like to hear what ISKCON are doing. Please do put in the chat box if it's possible, or by message some way. But do let us know that address, what they call a URL of the radio that they're doing. By the way, there was a radio station in Italy run by ISKCON. I think it was called Radio Krishna. I don't know. I haven't heard it. It's before my time of being here. But apparently it was very popular because they played like popular music and things which people like to hear when they're going to work. But they were always injecting Krishna consciousness. And Munindra Mohan Prabhu told me that it was, was a popular radio station in Italy. And this is sort of one of the pioneering projects that they did. ISKCON had hundreds of devotees here. They have a place called, as they call it, Villa Brindavan, I think. I've been there. They took me there when we drove to Rome several years ago. I've been at a large place. Now very few devotees are there, but he explained that was a thriving place with hundreds of devotees based there and going out preaching, going out doing programs. So we can learn, we can try to see the good things that people have done. But publicity, good publicity, proper publicity, yes. And this is Mahaprabhu's mission, and Mahaprabhu's publicity was Harinam Sankirtan, before radio and the internet. They haven't always existed. And most of us here know that the internet, really it's a baby. Did not exist a few years ago. Hare Krishna. And television, we are from the zero television time, the black and white television time, and then the color television time. But thankfully, it kind of went over it sort of passed by. And I'm amazed people still watch TV, by the way, with all the advertisements and all those things which are there. So in the chat box it's a Facebook, Facebook link for their program. And Seva Rupa Devi Dasi, Dandava Pranams. Dear devotees, please excuse my camera is off. There is limited internet because of load shedding. South Africa, little like India with electricity going out. But she's not here. Oh, she is here with the Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu taking place. Yes. So we'll wait for Sevarupa a little time because maybe some electricity will come. But let us maybe ask next to Indulekha Devi Dasi because she's very brave. She's got her camera on. And I think you may like to share something of reaching the public in 5 minutes starting. Now, no, it's not a strict time line.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat, dear devotees. I have had so much experience with teaching yoga, asana, pranayama in yoga studios. So it's I've done that for decades. And I've always brought in questions. And there is that clear, like I be instructing and teaching, and it's quiet. It's not like a chat room. People don't speak during a yoga class. Not when I was teaching or I am teaching. And oftentimes they come afterwards and have questions. And what I realized is that they don't want to ask me what, because I just did. I gave them a whole chunk of something they can take home. I just said a lot of things. And I would counter with like, well, what do you think? And that's what the encouragement I felt people really need, actually. They have not formulated any questions. Oftentimes I feel, especially around personal inquiries, like spirituality is so personal, it's so intimate, that I give them just a moment to gather their own mind and how would they propose a question. And in that, there is, I don't know if I make sense at all, but it's like they're beginning a conversation they may have not had with themselves. Like we need to start this whole thing. Like, what do I even think? I need to understand that yoga isn't, oh my God, it's not the thing where you stand on your yoga mat and you do all kinds of things. No. And so I've always, not always, I am trying to stay away from continuing with like all the things I know, and I can send you links and I can send you books and I can do, it's actually more of an invitation for a self-inquiry, like giving them little homework, like just ask yourself, like, why am I here and who I am? And one person out of 10 people, they are willing to ask more next time around, next month, next week, whatever. And then I can give a little bit more, things to read, etc. So that's kind of because I have a role. That's like me as a yoga teacher. I have this, authority in a way. So I felt like I have the right to say, like, well, this is what yoga really is. You're supposed to ask yourself, who am I and why am I here? So that felt really good. And when I think about this as just a person, and I don't walk around in my, yoga teacher role, when I'm not in that role and not in that authority, I still want the exchange, like asking back and forth, instead of me just unloading all those wonderful things about Mahaprabhu and Sankirtan and Hare Krishna, and and asking the smallest things like, what is mantra for you? They really are amazing ways for me to establish a little bit more inquiry from the other person, because without the inquiry, without the willingness, it's pointless to just preach. I actually don't even think I'm a preacher. I don't want to be, because I've been just wanting to learn. It's very selfish. Well, I need to learn more, but because the fact is that I've been teaching also for Ayurveda, yoga, pranayama for decades, really. So, and it comes easy to me. I love actually like explaining, very Jupiterian. I love it. And but this preaching, no, it's something I don't feel so called to yet. And when people also get this attention, and when you're sitting basically with them, holding space, to that they have a moment to actually ask themselves, because I hold them accountable without even saying anything. People dare to go like, yeah, I'm wondering. And I think that's a very beautiful place. That's a very, very fertile ground when there is space, like not bombarding, not more information, because obviously we're living in a time with the internet and all those things with overly, it's so available, so readily available. People can click on anything. I find it also sometimes even disturbing how Instagram is a few seconds off, and everybody goes like, do you want to be better? There's these 2 minute, 1 minute people teaching the deepest things in a very short time. And there is such a need, I think, for people to learn and to teach. But I'm also repelled of that people really taking up such roles of telling how to get a relationship to God or something. It's I think it's very personal. So I'm the last one to tell anybody that they need to believe in Krishna. Oops, something is making sound. Oops, somebody is making sounds. I hope it's not because of what I said, but I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel it is such a like when two lovers come together, they want to tell everything right away, but you can't. It needs to go slower, and then with time it's like it reveals how special and sweet it is. So and I wouldn't want to take that away from anybody, to go on that path of wanting to inquire. And I love that inside of me, this curiosity and wanting to learn. And then I'm happy to, to kind of provide a little bit more, like, oh, if that's interesting for you, maybe you want to look at this. And I think that is a much sweeter way. And I'm also not in this terrible role of like, you need to, and I'm not in their face. They can also not return to me and go like, yeah, what you told me, that was really crap. Because it's more like it's very gentle, very sweet. And this is how I want to also be treated, that I have room to breathe, that I have maybe somebody to hold space. That's something I already said. I think that's why that's what I find important, to create a safe place where you hold somebody's space so they can for a moment sit with themselves and wonder, what do I actually really think about these higher topics? Like, is there something much bigger? Is there a higher power? How does it talk to me? What is a mantra? What is my soul? Why am I here? Who am I? So I think that's something. So there's two aspects. What I want to bring in is like this yoga teacher, they tend to want to listen more, but then it's like inspiring people to listen to themselves more than to listen to me or what I present, what they should be listening to. I think that's what yoga really is, isn't it?
Well, yoga, connecting with the higher, with something higher, isn't it? Connection.
Yeah. And actually not right away with a guru and a teacher and come to my class, and it's overwhelming. And if I'm not taking up too much time here, I'm going to point out Bimal Krishna because I brought my son, who's not Krishna conscious, to the Govinda Mela in California, and he doesn't not want to be preached to. He does not want to have somebody go like, "Oh, you need to really start chanting the holy name and believe in Krishna." He'd be like, "Okay, my mom's been telling me." He won't want to hear it. And then he had like an infection in his toe. And then Bimal Krishna is very manly, very tall. He walked up to my son. He said, like, "How is that foot of yours?" And that was actually something my son brought home as, "They care. They don't even know me." And he remembered I had something, and that made him really gave him a soft spot in his heart. So, and Bimal Krishna was not preaching or talking Krishna consciousness, and that was a huge service, and it took only this much time, really. But he was present with my son and really looked at him and go like, "How are you?" That was very impressive for, my son is 24, so he is looking up to other men, and yeah, so I had to say that. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. And also you answered a question that I was going to ask you, because earlier you said, I can ask them, what does mantra mean to you? And I was in my mind, I was going to ask you, please give us some other examples to get them to be a little bit introspective and think. And then you did, you told, what is it, what is the purpose of life to you, this, that, and the other. So this often happens, the questions get answered. So Gangalila, yes, beautiful. We are very happy to hear. And I must be introspective. What does mantra mean to me? Actually, all of us really, at the end of the day, we must be serious in our introspection. And as Srila Gurudev said, composed in that Gupta Govardhan Arti, that the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata are serving in an introspective mood. So let us be introspective and serving. It doesn't mean we're sitting dumb and silent, but what are we doing? The substance behind our activities. All right, so for a little variety, we can come to, well, am I allowed to ask Prema Sindhu Prabhu in South Africa? You're with us, and your wife is on Facebook, so she's kept clear from answering the question, but maybe you could represent the family if it is practical for you and you're happy to do so. 5 minutes on how to reach to the public. And Prema Sindhu Prabhu running a beautiful, successful ashram. And I saw a photograph of the ashram the day before yesterday, or perhaps the day before yesterday. Sevarupa Devi Dasi was there and attending the program, and it looked very green, the garden so nicely kept, and the plants all looked very happy. If available, Prema Sindhu Prabhu. He's a busy man with lots of responsibilities. Okay, perhaps a little later on we'll see, but very happy to have you here, and to have Mathura Basini Devi Dasi also, and Nirupama, by the way, on Facebook, sending her obeisances to the devotees. And she's facing many challenges, but very bravely, and in the association of devotees. And Tunga Rasa Devi Dasi also there, and some others are there. I don't see who's there unless they put a little icon or something, some emoji, some message. So let us come to Leela Moy Prabhu, and then Aparajita Devi Dasi can be ready. I know she's eager, but Leela Moy, everyone's eager to share something. Leela Moy Prabhu, 5 minutes. Have you ever? Okay, yes, I want to ask you a question.
Have you ever? Okay. For me, I think the most important aspect is already mentioned by Indulekha and Bimal Krishna Prabhu also, this aspect of develop of a friendship with a person that you want to preach or something, and always trying to be lovable with everyone, give them some affection, and this is a natural process. because everything is based on the teachings of our masters, and we, in this certain way, we don't have any control of these teachings or anything. One thing that we can do is practice, trying to practice. And we are listening every single day about love and affection, how to treat everyone with respect and give honor to others. I think this is the minimum that we can do when we approach someone. And of course, I don't have any realization, everything. What I can try to do is to be like a parrot, just to repeat the words of our masters. And I don't know if they will understand or not. And the result is not up to me also, because it depends of many other things, if they're going to understand or not. Everything depends on the security of the person, everything. But this doesn't mean that I'm not going to do my part. It is really to show them what it worked to me, what is the essential points of the philosophy that I really kind of understand or something. But yeah, basically it's this: always treat everyone with love and affection, and give some good example for them to represent our Guru very well.
Okay, Leela Moy Prabhu, you've given us love and affection. Now make us all Krishna conscious.
Okay, then
Okay.
what I can say is yeah, actually, what I can say to everyone, that just to be around the persons that really trying to follow these practices, and really, I don't know, it's another step. I had to think.
The thinking process. Okay. Okay, Leela Moy Prabhu. Appreciate. And Aparajita Devi Dasi. She's heard something. She's become a devotee. She's a keen sharer. Aparajita, make us all Krishna conscious. We're going to be, in English they say, we can be the devil's advocate.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat everyone. It's always so very meaningful for me to listen to the sharing from everyone, because I'm also new with preaching with Krishna Consciousness. But yeah, every day I meeting friends, I always share about Krishna Consciousness. But yeah, for me, it's also from starting with just being compassionate toward other people and listen to other people, like and see whether they're ready to listen or not. But sometimes if it's a friend of mine, I just update about my life, like how is my life now, and I just update like, yeah, now I found this, and it's very something like I feel it's really like a reality of my life and sharing, and yeah, they are friends, and they just like, yeah, I know they just okay, that is something. And some people, they also asking question, oh, what is this? This is a religion, and starting have more conversation about public preaching. I also like to connect with people like open-minded. I was working more in like a environmental field, or like a social, also spiritual people, and yeah, I also finding space that where we can share and people open. Like now, me and Muktinath Prabhu, we are contacting a space in Bangkok that they normally have some spiritual events or some like music, some sharing, activism, and we think like people there, and we don't want to make it like a preaching, but make it fun and people engaging, not serious, sharing food, something like that. Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Hi. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Be natural. This is your message for us. And be human. And again, the theme, be a friend and share our own experience. To those who want to hear, check out what they're able to hear first. Many thanks, Advaita Devi Dasi. Good to have you here with us. And we've been holding back from asking Kum Didi and asking Paramananda Prabhu and Priya Sundari. They're all regular contributors, but we can't hold back anymore. Kum Devi Dasi, you've got to share something with us. Paramananda will be ready. Priya Sundari, be ready.
My Dandavat Maharaj and all of the devotees here, it's very true that everybody has some ability to try to persuade somebody else just out of sincerity. And one thing that pops out is there's the common thread of suffering. Whoever you encounter, they may put on one front, they may be distracting themselves, but deep down, everybody is so aware that they're suffering. And so to have somebody feel that they can see an alternative, something we always heard from Srila Prabhupada is a positive alternative, Krishna Consciousness. And so there's so many solutions that people put forward, perhaps at an international level or national. There's politics, or even health can be just a distraction from how do we honestly get to the bottom of why we are suffering and what we need to do to get over that. And I was happily reminded when Bimal Krishna Prabhu was speaking about what Pritu pointed out last time, that Srila Gurudev said, make friends with people. And that can't be said enough, because everybody is interested in love, but what we're really interested in is affection, because we don't really know what love is in this world. There are not enough words to describe pure love, and so we can get distracted. But the true affection of a friend is rare and is coming in with the devotees. And so when somebody encounters that, it's the sweetest taste. And then I believe everything starts to fall into place. Sometimes we hear these wonderful one-liners that end up on the tops of the flyers that the devotees pass out. And this always reminds me of Brajamohini Didi. And just things like, yes, Om means a big yes. What you are seeking for, that exists. This is astounding for most people. We hear it all the time. But most people can't even begin to go there and think, I could be satisfied. So we can put that point across. Yes, you will be fully satisfied in every way.
And what inspires us, like these one-liners that jump out, if it inspires us, we can think it'll inspire others. At least we can share what inspires us, whether it does or does not. So yes, and it's not that I hear all the time, Om means a big yes. So today we've been reminded that Om means a big yes. What you are searching for, it does exist. And it does. Jai Kum Devi Dasi. Too much appreciation in Gurudev's remembrance. And Bimal Krishna also pointed out before, when people will come, the public will come, or somebody will come in front of Gurudev, it's not that Srila Gurudev is immediately preaching and telling so many things. He's making them at home, being human, being a good host, just being there, being friendly with them, relating to the person, and talking about Krishna.
Yeah.
in due course. But also Gurudev, he's looking to see how much, what can be said to each person. Sometimes it's simply just be their friend, but sometimes it's telling good and straight. Gurudev, sometimes you can hear beginning a talk says, I've been thinking for some days, how can I say this to you all? And then he's been considering a point that he wants to get across. Jaya Kumkum Devi Dasi, much appreciate. Paramananda Prabhu, wake us up. Well, we're already awake. They're already awake. I'm a hard nut to catch, a hard nut to crack. So I'll be the devil's advocate.
Well, let me at least try.
Black duck amongst white swans.
Whatever you say, Maharaj. But let me try to be a gentleman. May I ask Priya Sundari to speak first?
You may.
Dhanavad, Gurudev, Dhanavad, so devotees. I believe that prasada is always a very good way of preaching, because everybody loves to learn about how good vegetarian food can be. And it can be surprisingly good if you're not expecting anything good without onions or garlic or without meat. And we were listening to Srila Guru Maharaj today, and he was saying, yes, I expect that whenever you bring a new person to be initiated, I expect that they would already know the 4 directives, because you have already, like, if you're bringing someone, they already know that. So in a way, offering prasada is not only feeding them, like giving them mercy, but also allowing them to get in touch with how you can follow those directives eventually, because that is one of the basic things we have in the practice life, right? We don't even consider otherwise, but we have to, for you to continue and gradually, it's one of the things you have to learn to let go of eating meat, for example. And also I was, for me, I think it was in affectionate guidance that we were listening to also, someone went to Guru Maharaj and he said, but does God exist? I think that was the question, I'm not sure. And then he answered an answer that could have been given by anybody else, but because he was given by Guru Maharaj, he had so much faith in what he was saying that all the questions, all the doubts were immediately gone. So when I think in that case for us, when we are trying to talk to someone, if we really believe in that, and if we have some faith, then it's the faith that will arrive to the other person, because we can try to convince them, but if you don't have faith, you could see, like again, you were telling us that maybe if you heard someone saying that you have a blue child that is God, maybe the person will not take it seriously. But maybe if the person hears it in a, like there is so much faith that then it's not about what you are saying, it's about the faith behind it. Then the person will accept that more easily. So this is, I don't know if it makes sense, but these are because I always speak from the heart when I'm talking with friends and with new people. So I hope there is some connection there. And instead of, because if I try to convince them with a mentally, like an intellectual way, I just don't know enough. I cannot arrive anywhere. So maybe if opening your heart and feeding and giving them prasada, those are the ways that I usually try to give the the message of Krishna consciousness.
Prasadam, the solution is in prasadam. Yes. Prasadam and the heart.
I kind of like the point about the blue child, Sundari said. I mean, who are we to limit? I mean, there are people, I can guarantee there are people who are thinking that if God is blue, I'm in. I can absolutely guarantee you that. So we shouldn't even think about limiting anything. We can just be very straightforward with that. And like everybody said, actually everybody contributed very nicely. And a very nice opening by Bimal Krishna Prabhu. He pointed very important guidelines for that. And really, it always resonates with me how Srila Govinda Maharaj, he dealt with everyone. And how natural he was, and how natural, actually he never preached, we can say. He was just sharing what was dear to him. That was his life. He is living that, and he's just sharing his life, what was dearmost to him. And that's what attracted most of the people. And many devotees may say the same thing. He never really directed. And sometimes he would do, to make some point, he will, we can say directly preach to you, to make a particular devotional point. But mostly it was a very sweet, kind and affectionate interaction with the devotees. I mean, on my first meeting, for example, I can only speak for myself, I was offered a cup of tea and asked with a lot of love and affection. I felt it. How am I? What is my, all of those things. There was nothing, I wasn't receiving any heavy preaching or Shastra quotes, nothing like that. It's very warm and kind-hearted interaction. And that interaction absolutely captured my heart. So be what you preach, we can say, or better not to preach, but share with people what is dear to you. And we're not the kind of missionaries who go out there and jump on people and try to force them into believing in something that they don't need to ask questions about, like some other confessions do. It's not our style. I mean, originally, we have to understand there's so many conditions for a jiva soul in this world that actually come in contact, be able to come in contact with the agents of the reality. And that condition is, first of all, is a good fortune. So what we're doing, we're making ourselves available. We're establishing embassies, we're establishing consulates for those souls who are seeking those answers. They're hankering for that. They may not know exactly where to go, but that's why our so-called preaching efforts are to make ourselves available and accessible for them. They will come to you. If you ask yourself, if you ask around, you will find out that most of the devotees did not come from mass preaching. They come from interaction with the devotees, or, for example, with the books, which is another thing we're forgetting about by some reason, but lots of people came through books. Books were their first guidelines, including Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, including speaker here, all through the books that somehow landed in so many different unusual places. Why would the book land in some kind of a guest house where Maharaj was resting, sitting, waiting for somebody? I don't know what you've been doing there, Maharaj, but in Africa, excuse me, in some guest house, or in the Soviet Union, in some obscure little town, in the flat of a truck driver. And when really, Krishna, he finds ways to connect with those souls. He is the main, we can say, he is the main preacher. So we can learn from him a little bit. First of all, he is all attractive. I already spoke about it. The more we let him to be inside of our heart, the more we become all attractive because of him. That nature also comes to us, and we will be more and more approached by different people who are actually looking. We're looking for love, we're looking for affection, we're looking for beauty. Everybody is looking for that, just bewildered. And it's normal to be bewildered, not to forget. We're in a world of Maya. It's the world of illusion. It's absolutely normal to be illusioned here. What is normal, not normal, is to be disillusioned. Really, it's true, it's a fact. So in that sense, those who are disillusioned, they're trying to help others, but don't expect everybody, don't expect mass conversion. It's not going to happen. It's just not happening. Unless Krishna himself descends and liberates the whole world. But then we hear that immediately it becomes filled with another bunch of conditioned souls. So the nature stays the same. The material world will never turn into Galoka. It may turn into Galoka in the presence of divine personality. And those who perceive and actually understand who is that person in front of them or who are affected by that personality, then the world turns into Galoka. Otherwise, still stays material world. So my point, and you can absolutely disagree with that, with sincerity, faith, love and affection is given. Make yourself available to be accessed by those fortunate souls who are seeking, who are asking those questions, and be ready to share with them. But share not the philosophy, not difficult Sanskrit verses and all of that. Share what is dear to you, what you felt. And remember a beautiful conversation. I mean, this is a conversation between a liberated soul and the one who is seeking answers. And that's from Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And how beautiful Satya Goswami points that out. Like Govinda Maharaj said to me, it was one-on-one conversation. I asked him, Govinda Maharaj, what would you think? What is the best way of preaching? Because I had my own experience. I mean, would you give me some guidance? His answer was very simple. Become friend and give them prasadam. That's it. So, in that beautiful description by Sanatana Goswami, a seeker is meeting eternally liberated soul. And that eternally liberated soul looks at the seeker and thinks that he thinks I can actually give him all the scriptural quotes and all the injunctions of the scriptures and shastras, but better just tell him my own life. What happened to me? It was dear to me, what I experienced myself. And of course, he was very successful. So Gopakumar actually took that Brahmin who was ready. He was already a fortunate soul. He took him to the Galoka. Success scenario. So we have everything for us, all the guidelines given already. So we don't have to jump over our head. Share with what we have. Faith, sincerity, and not limit. Don't be afraid to talk about Krishna. Don't be afraid to say he is blue and he's playing the flute and he's chasing young girls in the bush. Well, that's maybe later will come. But I was remembering that verse Srila Govinda Maharaj quoted during the opening Sri Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. It was absolutely perfect. And it was a public opening. And the verse by Raghupati Ubadhyaya, Kam pratikataya tamishesam pratikama pratikiraya gopati tanaya kunja gopavatu tivitam brahma. Yeah, who can I tell? Who will believe me? That the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Brahman himself, the God of all gods, is chasing young girls in the bushes of Vrindavan. Now, who can I tell about it? And that time will come. But people can be attracted by absolutely any aspect. Somebody can be attracted by Lord Narasimha. Somebody can be attracted by Lord Varaha. Somebody can be attracted by Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu, Krishna, and his different forms, Dwara Krishna, Mathura Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna. But we don't have to limit. And as we go, we will learn to be somehow in tune. We will understand how much this person may take. And gradually, we can guide that person according to our capacity. So don't just, one thing, don't limit anything. Just don't think that, oh, I better not to tell that. Just be sincere. Whatever you say in a sincere mood, people be absolutely amazed and blown away. And even if they don't agree, the God is blue, still they're going to be absolutely blown away. But that's the whole idea. And they may go home thinking about, really? Can he be blue? Well, he's God. He can be, right? He can be green, blue, red, white. By the way, all those colors are Krishna's, Krishna's colors. He came as a Rakta avatar, As Ramachandra, he is greenish. Then there is also a white colored avatar of the Lord. And Krishna himself is the color of the rainy cloud. You don't have to say blue. Just say he's the color of the rainy cloud. How beautiful is that? I remember, still this day, I remember riding a bicycle with Maharaj and seeing this beautiful rainy cloud. And there was a little lightning in there, and it just made it a little bit goldish, golden and shyam kind of color. That was absolutely mind-blowing. And immediately you're thinking of Krishna. And I think people seeing that color will not argue so much that, yes, God can be of that color because it's so beautiful.
And we've mentioned about prasadam, we've mentioned about the books. Also, what else wakes people up and also makes them think, what are they thinking? That's the Sankirtan, congregational chanting with mridanga, kartal, singing the holy names. That leaves people thinking, what are they doing? And at least that's a question. What are they doing? A question that comes in their mind. And I'm one of them also. Book, yes, but also seeing the devotees looking a little strange, yes, but going down the street and just not really judging, but wondering, what are they doing? That is little experience. Also from a remote corner of the world, Nairobi in Kenya. Who would, as Keshavananda would say, who would have thunk it? Don't know where the word thunk comes from Lancashire or somewhere in the north of England, where he's from. Who would have thunk it?
Maharaj, I know a devotee who joined because of the sound of kartals during the Nam Sankirtan. Still around for more than, I don't know, almost 20 years by now. Following the sound and seeing devotees singing. But I said, what did amaze you the most? She said, the sound of kartals. And then I approached them and then I started talking to them.
It's like giving a talk or something, and you think you said some things which hit the nail on the head, but then afterwards, in that time that Gangalila Didi was mentioning, after you've given a class or something, people come and they ask questions and talk together, and you find something very much on the periphery, which was the thing which attracted somebody that made them think. So our duty is to do our duty, and the result is up to Krishna. So in all these various ways, to somehow reach to the heart of the, you can say, innocent persons, the persons who don't know what is what. And so to try to give a little bit of an injection. And the urgency aspect comes in the eyes of like Advaita Acharya, whose appearance was yesterday or today, I think everybody now is here on tomorrow time, aren't they? Anyway, I'm not sure. Anyway, Advaita Acharya just appeared. He was so intensely wanting to wake up the sleeping souls, as it were, because he can see the suffering and that they're just digging themselves into deeper suffering through the modes of enjoyment in this world. And so when they see what is the reality of the world, then they are very eager to urgently try to do something good. This is Advaita Acharya. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. This is our Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We see his intensity and sincerity to do good for everybody in the world. And that's coming also, of course, from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he is revealing the heart of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this mixture of urgency and practical way to not preach, but to open the heart to the public for their brightest prospects, something like this. Hare Krishna. So very much appreciate the contribution of each of you. We did our 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and we got lots of nectar from your 5 minutes. And Seva-Rupa's using the last little bit of power during the load shedding with a candle, maybe powering her mobile phone from a candle. And so Seva-Rupa is with us. We can see South Africa devotees living in the deep southern hemisphere, but everywhere in the world, the chanting of this, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is continuing with the sincere devotees. And this is an inspiration too, to know that we're not alone. All over the world, devotees are chanting. We may not be hundreds and hundreds all in one place, but we are hundreds and hundreds all over the world. And that expression, we are actually, we can say the devotees are the majority. The whole of Vaikuntha is made of devotees. But we are living in a minority region, something like that. This was some expression. We are the majority, but we're living in a minority country, land. All right, so let us all put into practice all the things we've heard, headed by one of the first things we heard, which was from Bimal Krishna Prabhu, to be a devotee, to be what we are presenting to others. Let us try our best. Chant Hare Krishna, be happy, and be under the one umbrella, that shade of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, and Srila Prabhu. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakha Sri Radhe Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. All the Sri Rupa Nugu Bhaga ki Jai. Our present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki Jai. All the devotees Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda ki Jai. Nama Acharya, Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Shri Hari Nama Sankirtana ki Jai, Shri Prasad and Prasadam Seva ki Jai, all the holy scriptures ki Jai, Grantha Raj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. All the books that come from the lotus mouth and pen of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. With much appreciation to each of you, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namah.
Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhusudana Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj. Ami Aschi, with all best wishes and hoping for the best wishes of the Vaishnavas. Jai Nitya.
Hari Hari Bol.